Hi, fashion dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, November 13th, and welcome to an all-new episode of Style by Stevie. And what a man week continues with our very special guest, Earthtone. Earthtone is going to be joining me. We're going to be discussing his music career, his current projects, and also the herbal podcast. I'm super duper excited to be meeting Earthtone. Yesterday I did an interview with Troy Weeks Music. So definitely What a Man Week continues here on Style by Stevie with some of the most sexiest, talented brothers in the music industry and in the film industry as well too. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out some invites to a couple people. And we're going to get this show crack-a-lackin'. I thought we would do something a little different with the backdrop. I'm getting another backdrop, so I wanted to do something different. You guys can see me up close and personal. But that's what we're waiting on right now is my special guest to get in. It is 4 p.m. And I'm so excited for this interview. Hi, Roland. How are you, my love? I'm going to stand up so you guys can see what I'm wearing tonight. I'm wearing like a little caftan number. It is almost like a little kimono. I wanted to do something very chic, very elegant, not too much. And my special guest is here, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Earthtone. Yes, hair and outfit. Yes, I've never stood up and did an outfit reveal or anything like that. I wanted to do something a little different. All right, so let me add Earthtone, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this interview started. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the question.
Hey, there we go.
Hello, hello,
Come
hello.
on.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen, Earthtone is here with me. So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about you. How did you get started in music?
Ooh, how did I get started in music? Well, I've been doing music since I was a youngin', probably about 8, 9 years old. I grew up with older brothers and sisters. So my next youngest sister was like 11 years older than me. So I had like teenage brothers and sisters when I was a baby. So, I was influenced by a lot of music that was a generation ahead of me. So like hip hop was new and fresh. I grew up on it. You grow up imitating your favorite songs and learning the words and stuff like that. And I eventually started doing it myself. I had a neighborhood friend that I grew up with, and we both decided to write our own rap. So, we tried to write an actual rap and we put one together. We had a chorus and all of that. And, one day my older brother walked in and he heard us like, practicing it. And they were like, what is this? Like, where did this come from? Like, they were impressed on how good it was for, the age we were. So they kind of started, you know, pushing me to do it more back then. They knew people who produced and stuff like that. So I was kind of doing music and in studios and all that type stuff when I was young. And then, I took a long hiatus growing up in high school and all of that. I actually played basketball in high school. So I started playing basketball more. I played basketball in college. So the more I was playing basketball, the less I was doing the music. So I kind of took a big break. And then, also back then I wasn't necessarily out yet. So the music was very different. It wasn't, what I'm doing now and today. And I started doing the music again around like 2005, 2006. But then, of course, 2014 is when I released my first official actual project, which was Gmail. And that was like my first piece of music where I was, fully me, Earthtone. So it's a bit of a long story, but that's kind of the long short story of how I got into music.
And it all paid off very, very well. Now, you garnered an opportunity to play with the NCAA division and basketball for an acclaimed liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. What was that experience like for you?
It was amazing, man. It was really probably the best thing I got out of school and college. I mean, I have my gripes with the whole school system and all of that. We'll talk about that later, but As far as playing ball in college, like that was like one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Cause I love playing ball. So to be able to go to school and, play basketball and for another 4 years, and it was dope. It was kind of a chance to get out of the house, get away from home. I was kind of on my own because I stayed on campus. So I had a bit of a grown man experience almost. Living on my own, being on a dorm, and it was dope. I loved it. It was this little small town college, but I was like 30 minutes from Philly, so we were like right by a big city. I wasn't too far from where I grew up, which is North Jersey. About like an hour and a half away. So it was dope. It was cool.
OMG, I recently saw him on the pier in Silvercoat. He's dope. Yes, Earthtone is very talented. Now,
Oh,
we've
word.
grown to know you
Shout
from the
out.
Circle NYC. So, how did you come together on this cast? You on season 3, so how did you come together a part of this cast collectively?
Oh man, that was actually the producer, Lester Matthews, Nunu. Shout out to your boy Nunu. He actually reached out to me on IG. It was real simple. He DM'd me. I actually didn't know too much about the show when he hit me up. So he hit me up, was just like, I have an idea for this show. I want you to be a part of it. And we just kind of started talking from there. And then I went and looked at the previous 2 episodes, the previous 2 seasons, and kind of saw what it was about. And I was like, okay, it's a little different, than what I would normally be, involved in. But I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So that's how it went. And of course, you saw the season, and it was kind of a wild ride.
Yes. I've watched season 1, season 2, and then your season 3, and then it went into season 4 as well too. And you performed the theme song for it, and it's very catchy. Like your music, how can I describe it? It has a '90s feel to it, but it's still very current. Do you feel like hip hop music has lost its touch?
Not necessarily, because like you said, like it's artists like me that'll give you that kind of same feel. It's a lot of artists out there that's doing it. It's just so much of it that it's harder to find nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to do a little more work to find the type of music or artist that you might be looking for, because it's not really being put in your face. Like the same type of artist is being put in your face. So it's hard not to
Yes.
hear anything else. You know what I'm saying? So, but this out there, it's just you got to you got to work harder to find it.
Now you started your own company, which is your name right here on Instagram, Earthtone Music. What was that like? What made you want to start your own music company?
I mean, you get to a certain point, especially as an artist, an independent artist, where it's about ownership. It's about everything you're doing, kind of, you being tied to it in some way, shape, or form, and being able to benefit from it in the long run. Because that's what, that's all the record label does. They put money behind you, but then they own everything. So if you owning it up front or yourself, that's pretty much all it is. So it's pretty much just me owning myself, my brand. So everything I do is under Earthtone, music. So that's pretty much all that was. I suggest everybody do that. It don't take much to get an LLC, you know what I'm saying? Start up get your EIN number, and you'll be good to go.
And there's one of your cast members from the Circle. Hi, B Hawk Snipes. I absolutely
B Hawk
love
was popping.
you. Yes, so fierce. I love you, my love. I can't
Yeah,
wait to meet you one day.
yeah.
But also, not only that, but you have the Herbal Tea podcast. Now, how did that come together? Because I love it. I love the topics that you guys discuss. You talk
Yeah.
about music, you talk about so many different things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That kind of came about pretty much out of necessity. Like we have a void, especially, in the Q plus community, queer space,
Yes.
media, entertainment, artists. We don't really have these platforms that take our work and our music seriously enough to review it and go through it and, constructive criticism, critique. Like we need stuff like that. Like back then we used to have the Source magazine where you get your 5 mics, but they not only give you a rating, they go through it and give you the highs and lows of the album. So they really kind of, pay attention to it. So we just wanted to provide that platform for, the artists in our space, the Q plus space. So that's pretty much all it's about. And I did, my homie IKP agreed to do it with me because it wasn't something I wanted to do by myself. Because I never really saw myself doing a podcast, but if I was going to do it, it was going to be something that made sense to me. So, it's music. I do music. We also talk about, the things that's going on in the culture, things that's going on in the streets within the community. And then we also brought in the whole, marijuana cannabis culture. but everything kind of made sense to what we already do anyway. So it just, it worked out. And we said we were going to give ourselves a year and see how it goes and then go from there. So we're dropping our last episode of this year next week. So we finished our year. So we're going to see what we're going to do next year.
Yes, are you guys going to bring it back? Are you guys going to bring the podcast back because it's so good? Like there's a new episode that's dropping each week, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. We definitely coming back for season 2. The plan is to start at the top of the year again because we launched it this January 2020. So January 2021 will be the launch of season 2, Earthtone podcast.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now we're going to shift gears back to the music. Who are some of your
Okay.
musical influences?
Oh man, influences. There's so many. Like you said, you hear that '90s sound. So definitely in the '90s, like that's probably my most impressionable era. As far as music, especially hip hop. All of those groups. But I come from like the Native Tongue branch, Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes, Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? All of them, that kind of circle. Naughty by Nature. I'm from Jersey, so of course I got those influences. Lauryn Hill, um, The Roots, Black Thought. Like I could go on and on. But then I love people like Erykah Badu. And then I was also into like, back then the radio was big, so you had a lot of different stations. And if you listen to like a Z100, anybody in the New York area, you can hear all the alt pop hits, all of the, a lot of the rock was popping back then, like the Linkin Park and Creed and all that type shit. So I was influenced by a whole lot of different type of music. But the stuff that I latched onto and made me want to, do it was like hip hop, definitely. Like I remember like learning a Tupac song and like taking the time to write down all of the lyrics so I could learn it and like say it verbatim every time it came on. Like I was like that into it. It was crazy.
What are some of the challenges that you faced being in the LGBTQ community and being a black man in the music industry?
Oof. One of the biggest ones I think we all face is probably with ourselves, first and foremost, because it takes a lot to kind of, get to that point where you're comfortable with yourself, first of all, and then to be able to put that out in your music and then out into the world is a whole nother thing. And then you got a whole nother hurdle to get over from the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to deal with. I think people get to that place at different points and times in their life. But for me, the biggest thing was probably with myself, with just getting over the fact that, like I said, I've been doing music since I was young. So I wasn't always, talking about the topics I am now. I wasn't always as open in my music, especially in terms of my sexuality and stuff like that. So that was the biggest hurdle for me, just getting to the point where I was comfortable and just talking the real and speaking all of that stuff. And it took me to 2014 to get to that space. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the first time I actually put out music that was like fully revealing. So that was the biggest hurdle for me, just myself. Everything else, I kind of look at it as you can't really control the things that you can't control. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't control how people are going to react to what I put out or, what I stand for, what I represent. I kind of just got to be comfortable enough in what I'm doing and hope for the best. Hope that the people that do fuck with it and it resonate with, kind of just gravitate towards me. And I focus on them as opposed to worrying about everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And there are people who are struggling to come out that want to get into the music industry. What advice would you give them?
Just take your time. And like I said, it's really you. You got to be comfortable with you because it's gonna be hard. It's not easy. It's gonna be a lot you're gonna have to overcome from the outside. So just make sure you right and you comfortable and you ready for you, and make sure it's what you really want to do, and that you enjoy it because it's a lot of hard work. Like you said, we got the Earthtone podcast, doing this, doing that, doing music. It takes a lot of work to do that stuff, but when you enjoy it, it doesn't seem like work. So if it's something you enjoy, something you're passionate about, you'll be all right because you're gonna be willing to do the hard work. But make sure you love it because it's a lot of hard work.
Okay, let me see. Let me read some comments real quick before we move to the next
Yeah. What's
question.
going on with the people? They in here?
Someone asked, "What is your sign?" They're coming in and out.
Uh-oh. I'm a Leo. August. Summer baby.
Okay.
I'm a summer baby.
Hi, Mel's Desserts. Make sure you guys go and follow her from the UK. This is a wonderful interview. Thank you. You are so welcome. I'm glad you're
Thank you,
enjoying it.
cool.
All right, my next question to you is if you could change anything about the music industry, what would that be?
Um, I think they should. It should be more like it shouldn't be so limited to who could be on top. Like you know how they can only be
Yes.
like one big pop star, one big rap star, one female artist at a time. Like I think there's so many dope artists. It shouldn't be so predicated on like who's the one hot artist. Like everybody should find their. It should be more like independent artist based. I feel like that would be the one thing I changed about the industry.
Okay. Now, if you could go open a show for any artist, it can be dead or alive, who would that be?
Ooh, damn,
Did I stump you?
that's a good question. Dead or alive though? Who would I open for? Oh shit, I don't know. Um, I mean, the first one that come to mind is like the Roots,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Roots band, like, cause that's like one of my favorite. Like, they're like one of the only hip hop bands. I'm big on like playing with live instrumentation, live bands, and like Black Thought is one of my favorite artists. If I could open for them and like have them play for me, and then they go into like their set, that would probably be like one of my biggest. Yeah, yeah, that would be it right there. The Roots.
And I think you already covered the next question. I was going to ask who was you going to get to open your show?
Ooh, to open for me. See, that's kind of different because, ooh, I don't know. Um,
Stumped you again?
yeah, but I would want to mix it up. Like, I would want to get like, I would want to get a different energy. Like, I would want to get some female energy up there. I might go with like a Lauryn Hill or a Missy. You know what I'm saying? To open up for me. I don't know. That's a good one.
All right, here's another stumper question. If you could collaborate with any artist, who would that be?
Today,
Yes, like it can be someone that is out currently, it can be someone that is long passed on. If you could collaborate with anyone, who would that be?
damn.
I'm stumping him
You
again,
know
Mel.
what? You know who I would like to fuck with? Ty Dolla Sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to work with him. I think we would make like some fire. Yeah, Ty.
That I would love to see that collaboration because you guys have a very different sound and like you've mentioned instruments and I can tell that you have a musically instrument inclined in some of your tracks that you've put out there. Like
Definitely.
it's one song that you've got on one of your albums I think called A Bachelor called Numbers, and I can tell like the drums and everything. I can tell that you had some musical instrument impact. So how have you played any instruments?
No, I don't play any instruments. I know. I mean, I produce. I've learned. I went to the Institute of Audio Research, so I learned the software. I learned Pro Tools, and a lot of the music production software. But it's just practice over time, and I sample a lot of live instruments, especially like drums and break beats. So as opposed to like programming a lot, I kind of sample a lot of live instrumentation. So that's where that sound comes from. But I don't play any instruments, unfortunately. I've been wanting to learn the piano for a while, but it's hard, especially the older you get. Like if you don't learn that like as a child, it's hard to get into it and learn it. So I haven't had the time to learn yet.
How do you feel the internet has impacted the music business?
I think it's a gift and a curse. I think it's like we was talking about earlier, like how you mentioned, a lot of people ask, is the essence of hip hop lost? Is the sound of music lost? I don't think it's lost so much because there's so many artists that still have that same sentiment, still have that pride in the music, still have that intent on putting that soul in there, putting that feeling. there's a lot of artists like that, but they just don't get the attention, so you probably don't really hear about them, and then it's harder to find them, and then it's so hard to find them to the point where it seems like they don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? So they are out there, but that's kind of the, curse of the internet, because now everybody can put out an album. Everybody can do music. So it's like, that's just a big sea of music that you kind of, it gets overwhelming after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets kind of hard to look and find music, and you start to hear the same stuff after a while, and it's just like, all right, only the same stuff is out there. But that's not really the case. It's a lot of stuff out there. It's just so much of it that it's tough to, sift through. But at the same time, that's the beauty of the internet. I can put out a whole album tomorrow if I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't do that in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It was a whole different process. You couldn't just record an album and, from the comfort of your living room. You know what I'm saying? So it got a lot easier, but it also got a lot easier, which is, it's a gift and a curse.
Since this pandemic has hit, has it made it difficult for you to kind of do concert appearances? I know you did a collaboration with Troy Weeks. I had him on yesterday. I did an interview with him, and I asked him this question. I said, has it been difficult for you to go out here and do concerts and make appearances? Like, Meg Thee Stallion just dropped her newest album yesterday, and it's already out today. So, has it been difficult for you?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the only show I did since the pandemic. Like with Troy Weeks, that was the one show I did. So I haven't done another performance since then. So it's been absolutely no performances. I've done like some virtual stuff, but not really performance. So the live performance aspect is definitely like came to a screeching halt, which it sucks, but it also helps. It's like, this is like a recoup year. Like, you kind of sitting back, building up, getting ready, because we can't do too much but make a bunch of music. You know what I'm saying? Gear up, get ready. You can kind of shoot videos here and there. Like, I just shot a video with the Alliance in September. So you can still do stuff, but we can't really, it's different. Everything's shut down. It seems like it's starting to spike up again. That prediction they were saying for the fall with the whole flu and COVID combination, it seems like it's starting to spike up. So it's probably going to revert back a little bit more. So we're just waiting for 2021, man. I'm not really too bummed out about it. Of course, it's been a crazy year, but it's also been an excuse to kind of sit still and just get my shit in order and, get right and get ready for the, whatever's going to be after this, after we come up out of this.
And more importantly, this has taught us to reset. This is literally the reset for you to reset and focus on your music, and for you to reset on what you want to do. What is next for Earthtone? Where does Earthtone see himself next in the music world?
I don't know. I try not to do like the whole 5-year, 10-year plan. Like, cause like you said, you could have had a whole bunch of plans last year, but then you come this year and what happened? All them plans
got put on hold.
Yeah, so it's like, I keep it to like a year. I try to plan my next year, and then after that, hope for the best. So definitely more music is coming. I definitely have a full solo project that's going to be coming out next year. I definitely got the Alliance project that's coming out next year. We got a bunch of projects coming out next year, so a lot more music. The Herbal Tea podcast is coming back for another season, definitely. I'll also be coming back with the Query with Slate TV, which, my interview series where I'm interviewing a bunch of Q+ artists. So that'll be coming back next year as well. Other than that, who knows? We'll see.
Okay, what was my next question for you? What is the creative process for you like? Because I know every singer, every songwriter has a process when they're writing their music. Like, some people like to have a certain atmosphere. Some people like candles. You see, Erykah Badu back in the day, she would light her incense and she would bring it on stage with her, and she would sip her tea, her lemongrass tea. Yeah. So what is the process like for you when you're creating music?
It's changed over the years, but as of late, I would say it's probably more so just me, because I produce a lot more of my stuff now. So it usually starts with the beat. You know what I mean? I have a beat I like say the song Bachelor I just dropped in July. Like, that was my latest single as a solo artist that I put out in probably like a year or so. So I usually start with the beat. I'll get into the beat. It'll kind of tell me what to write about. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to the beat. I might get a hook or a catchy melody, you know what I mean? And I'll kind of run with that and go from there. And then usually like the lyrics and the verse part comes easily. Like once I have the concept of what I'm gonna write about in the beat, it usually kind of just comes together. So that's pretty much my process. And then I never go into the studio usually and kind of write in the studio. I usually have everything ready and then I go into the studio and it's just recording, getting it done. Because studio time, you got to pay for that. So I'm not
Yes.
in the studio writing and wasting those hours to kind of create. I create it in the home studio, get it done, get it together, ready to go. I even create like a rough draft so I could kind of listen to, learn it, learn it more, get more comfortable. So that way when I get in the studio, I'm just pretty much executing it, knocking it down, and boom, going from there. But that's pretty much my creative process. And then as far as like, my releases, I'm more of a project artist. I'm not really a throw you out a single every week, every month, here and there, Lucy's. Like I might give you an EP, but I'm more of a project artist. So it might take a few years, a while, you know what I'm saying? Gourmet came out, 2018? So it's been about 2 years since my last solo effort. But like I said, 2021 will definitely be having another solo effort from Earthtone himself.
I can't wait for it. So, how many albums in total? Hi,
Reggie,
Alex
what's good?
Jonte. Make sure you
What's
guys go and check out
popping?
The Assistant. Me and my girl Danita are going to be doing a review on that. Follow Jonte Productions. Had to throw
Okay.
this plug in there. Let's show support to all. Yes, background, Miss Stevie. Thank you.
Sure.
You guys know I love to illuminate, and it's showing. Okay, my next question for you was, what's one of your favorite singles to perform?
Oh, Bully, hands down. Bully is one of my favorite joints to perform because it's such a it's like an aggressive song, but it's like a positive, aggressive energy song. And it's anti-bullying, of course. It got a positive message, but it's like a put your foot down, we not taking it type of message. You know what I'm saying? And I love performing it. It gets the crowd hyped. And the hook is repetitive, but it's catchy. So they can learn it by the first hook. So by the second time I get to the hook, the audience can kind of sing it with me, which is like a fun little. Like I like interacting with the crowd like that. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite single, definitely.
Alex said bully, and Reggie on the move says keep going. Yes, do we have any questions for Earth Tone? Because I
Oh
think I've answered them all.
yeah, it's been some good ones. You've been laying them in.
I
I
stumped
was
them on too,
surprised you did your
y'all.
research there.
I sure have.
Yeah.
I do my research on everybody that I interview. I said I can't go up in this interview half stepping, especially if I'm interviewing a hip hop artist that is well known.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I don't know about well known, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We,
You are, because your fans are here. They know your music and they're talking about it in the audience. Bully.
yeah,
I've
that's
heard that
crazy.
one in numbers. And then, of course, I love the Circle NYC, the theme song for it. It's catchy. And I was humming it while I was doing my
Small
hair this
circle.
morning. So, yes.
And you know what's funny? That's an older song. I put that out. That was on a mixtape that I put out like after my first project. So it kind of, Nunu always liked that song, so he wanted to use it and put it on, and it made sense for this season especially. So I was like, let's do it. Why not? But I'm glad you like it. Thank you. How long? How
You
long
are
have you been?
so.
How long have you been doing the interviews?
Oh, I would have to say 2 years.
Mm,
2 years in, still going strong. It's
okay.
been a long time.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
all right, we got a question from Alex Jonte. What impact do you hope to leave with your audience?
Um, I would like to leave the impact that is kind of on you. You know what I'm saying? Like to do what you want to do, to make yourself happy, to kind of make the moves you want to make. We all have those hopes, we all have those dreams. And it's never easy for anybody, but you can't ever feel like anybody owes you a handout or they're gonna do it for you. You gotta put that work in if you really want to make it happen. And do multiple things. Like you can have more than one passion, you can do a lot of things. Like you see me, I got a podcast. the interview show, do music, was on a reality show. Like, do it all. Enjoy. Like, you don't know what you're gonna like until you really, put yourself out there and enjoy it. But just be confident in yourself and enjoy it, man. Live life because it's short. So I hope that's one of the major takeaways or one of the impacts people at least see, like, from the way I move and the way I touch the world. So shout out to everybody in here. Javon Phoenix, P. Harrison, what's good?
Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen, for Earthtone before we conclude? All right, we're going to do a game called This or That while the audience gets their questions ready. And we're going to do it hip hop edition.
Okay. I like a good game. I like a good game.
All right, I'm going to start off with female rappers.
Ooh, okay.
Queen Latifah or MC Lyte?
Ooh, damn. I got to go home team, Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah, that's Jersey home. I can't, you know what I mean? I love Queen Latifah. MC Lyte is a beast. I love MC Lyte. She's crazy, but I'm gonna go Queen Latifah on that one.
All right, we're going to go into groups. We've got The Roots and Run DMC.
I mean, The Roots, that's a no-brainer for me. Shout out to Run DMC, of course, the legends, but The Roots, hands down. That's probably going to be any group you put up against them is probably going to be The Roots.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Tupac, Shakur, or Mos Def?
Ooh. Wow. Okay, I see.
Did I get you?
I see how you doing it. I see how you moving. Damn, that's rough. I'm gonna have to go Pac. Even though that's a tough one, that's probably like, that could be a tie almost, but I'm gonna have to go Pac.
Okay, let me see. Oh, there's so many iconic hip hop artists out here that have been in the game for a long time.
Oh my God.
Okay. Ugh.
Give me some new ones. Give me a new one.
Okay, Meg or Foxy?
Meg. I love Foxy, but Foxy ain't been the same in years. Like, I miss the old Foxy, but Meg, yeah. Meg got it.
Yes, she's incredibly talented, and what I love about her is her authenticity. Whereas most people that get into the rap industry, they lose sight of who they are. It's not original, and when you get into this music industry, yes,
it's rough. Like, the industry itself is kind of built to kind of break you down, chew you up, spit you out, and then bring in fresh new talent. That's it. Like, that's why it's like the industry is what we make it. Like, we need to make our own industry. That's kind of like the big thing. Like, when you ask me like what impact I would want to leave on people, like, that's kind of the impact I want to leave. Like, we got to build our own industry and stop looking to find that happiness or whatever by getting signed or whatever. Because once you get signed, it's different than what you might think it is. It's not what you think it's going to be. It's a totally different game. So focus on like the people who mess with you, cultivating your own fans and building your own industry. Like, platforms like this is what we need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Building your own industry, interviewing the people who you want to highlight and give, you know what I'm saying, like a platform to.
Yes.
And create that ecosystem. Like, we don't have that ecosystem, so we rely on, all right, I got to go get signed, I got to go do this. And we can do it ourselves, especially now with the internet. Like, that's one of the jewels of the internet. We can really do it ourselves. We just kind of don't believe that we can, but we can do it.
And it's some artists out here, a lot of them are starting to be like, independent artists. Like, they manage themselves, they do everything for themselves. They don't have a publicist, they don't have a manager, they don't have a whole team behind them. What advice would you give to them?
The thing about that is you're never really gonna get the team you want until you get to a certain point where you don't really need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really need like a publicist, you want to find a good publicist, it's hard to get one. Yes. They don't even, it's hard to get a response. It's hard to get, unless you know somebody or you have contacts, you can't get it. But then if you start popping and you getting a little buzz to where you getting your own publicity, you don't really need it, that's when they start come looking for you. So it's like you kind of just gotta put your head down, focus, and do what you can with who you can. Work with your friends. If you have a friend with similar interests, similar goals, you know, click up with them. Have them be your manager in the interim, and then y'all work out, you know, whatever they need to do. Because anybody can be a manager if they have, you know, enough initiative and they want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to work with what you have to, but definitely don't go out there and feel like you have to pay your last and scrounge, because that's you gotta take it easy with that, because that whole blowing your budget or living on the edge or by any means I'm gonna just, you can't do that, because you gotta live life, you gotta be able to eat, you gotta be able to sustain yourself, because if you can't do that, you ain't gonna be able to do anything else anyway. So just be smart about it. Don't worry about a team. Worry about your craft first. You know what I'm saying? Because the music will speak for itself eventually if you're consistent enough, you put out enough, and then go from there. Focus on your fan base, the people that like you, and then the right people are gonna gravitate to you once you put out that, you know, that energy.
And more importantly, Prince was saying this in one of his interviews before he passed away. It was way, way, way back when. He was saying about owning your masters. And I think the girls from TLC, T-Boz and Chili, were talking about that as well too. So if you are a songwriter, if you out here writing your own music, make sure you guys are owning your masters.
Absolutely.
You want the rights to all of your music, because you don't want people out here trying to release your music without your consent. So make sure that you guys are doing that as well too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the most important things, especially now. It's easier to own everything, because everything you put out now, you putting it out yourself, you distributing it
Yes.
yourself. You can do your own ASCAP, you know what I'm saying? Have the license in it. You can do all of that stuff now. You just kind of got to do more research, but it's all about that ownership and maintaining your IP, control of your, you know, your impression, your image, all of that stuff. Like, have control of all of that stuff and know what it is. Because the moment you get some traction, there's gonna be so many people that want a piece of that and want to take control of that. So you gotta have that in order before you get to that point.
So true. Whatever's for you is for you. Yes. And whatever God has built for you, whatever God has given you, the talent and the gift that He has given to you, that is for you and you only. Nobody can take
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
away from you. For us, by us, yes, especially in the LGBTQ community, we have to make sure that we are building our own platforms.
You
And
have
I'm
to.
thankful for people like Karan, and you've mentioned Nunu, and so many content creators
There's
out
a
here like
lot of them.
Corey Knott. You know, they don't do music per se, but they have their own production companies when it comes to filming and things like that. Lando King and Alex Jonte, like, paved the way for black LGBT content creators, especially in the music world as well too. There's Charlie Exile, there's Earthtone, who's here with me, who's literally sitting right across from me
Hey,
right now.
hey.
So, you know, it's very few and very little black LGBT hip hop artists. But I mean, we've got Lil Nas X now. I mean, he had to hide his sexuality, and now he's out here fully. But you still have some people that are, you know, just
But you
gonna be
see, like
ignorant.
all of the artists that are kind of somewhat out, or you know, out in the industry, all had to hide it at first. Like Sam Smith, Frank
Yes,
Ocean. Like, it wasn't necessarily a thing of like, okay, this is an artist that's just going to the top, that's out and there. They're always kind of pigeonholed to a certain level in a certain group. But like, look what you got to do to really break through in that industry. That's what I'm saying. Like, that industry ain't really for us. We got to create our own, that where you don't have to do all of that just to break through. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't have to do all of that to break through. So
yes, right. Wesley Henderson, AC Connection TV, and another content
yes.
creators, one of the world's most beautiful women in my audience, Miss Janelle Jayase,
Mm.
Home Cooked Combos,
Okay.
my mentor. She's another content creator. Definitely go and check out her platform as well too. So
It's a
we
lot.
gotta pass
Slate,
the
Slate,
torch and
Slate
continue on.
TV. Slate TV is another one. You
Yes.
got like Moby Fest. Shout out to Moby. It's a lot, and we kind of all just need to start clicking up and networking and building our own system. You know what I'm saying? Because we're like the gatekeepers of most of this shit anyway. So why not control it and, you know, run it and operate it? That's how I feel.
Thank you, boo. Thank you.
Shout out
Thank
to
you so
everybody in the
much,
building, man.
sis.
Thank y'all for coming through, for real.
Yes, do we have any more questions for Earthtone before we conclude? This is an amazing interview, and this is a conversation that needs to be had on how Black LGBT content creators can come together collectively and work on projects. We have to create the narrative exactly because
Yeah,
we know that. I mean, the only television networks that really give us a platform every now and again would be MTV or probably VH1, BET. Every now and again, very
yeah,
little, very few. But that's why you see a lot of them, like a Karan or Corey Knott or Nunu or Janelle Beyonce or my girl Danita D. Rashawn for
yeah.
the hot seat. Like, there's so many LGBT content creators out here, black content creators that do the same thing that I do.
Hmm.
And all of us are doing the same thing together collectively. So if we can come together, if they give us a network, I mean, well, hell, we are
Listen,
building our network.
that's what I'm saying. So it's only, I mean, I feel like we're gonna get there. It's just, we're starting it now. It's already starting. It's getting there. It's just a matter of building at it and keeping at it and being consistent and making it happen.
World of Wonder. That yeah, that's RuPaul's network, and on VH1, yes, they're giving us the new Now Next and logo. Like, but what about a all black
Yeah, that's what I'm
LGBT
saying.
television network?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We kind of slowly getting it because you know what that's about. Like that's been the same thing for a while, but that's a very specific corner of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a wide spectrum here, so we getting there.
And my sis Janelle Beyonce, my mentor in the audience, she has given me some pointers and advice. She said, don't change who you are, and I don't want to be like who's a blogger out here. T.S. Madison, for example.
Mm.
I don't want to be anything like her. She's incredible. I love her,
Yeah,
and I strive to be nothing like her. Everybody needs to be original in their own way. Like
absolutely.
Style by Stevie, we talk about the fashion, we talk about the culture, we talk about politics, we talk about so many different things. Like right now, music. Like I strive to be different than other platform artists
Yeah,
out here, and that's what sets me aside from the others just out here. To name a few collectively,
yeah,
we have to be original because
yeah,
there's so many out here. We all do the same thing, but you have to do something that sets you aside from them so that they won't say, okay, this kind of reminds me of this
yeah.
person. And it's okay to be compared. I don't mind comparisons. I've had people say, oh well, oh, your show is like T.S. Madison in the morning because I go live at 9 a.m. She'll go live at a different time,
Yeah,
and they'll be like, I caught both of y'all shows together.
yeah,
So I said, no, she does her thing.
yeah.
I don't want anybody to think, but I love, being compared, but I can't. I'm not on that level yet.
But you should
I'm
feel
not
that
there
way.
yet.
Like you should feel like an individual. You should feel like, okay, that's what she's doing. I want to do something different. Like we need all of the different flavors. Like it shouldn't just be one note.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just gonna make, like we said, we gotta build our own ecosystem. You can't have everybody doing the same thing in an ecosystem. Like we all got to be doing different stuff. So that's kind of what the point is. So that's why I'm glad. Like I'm glad you said that. Like we need that in the community. It shouldn't be about, all right, I'm copying you, copying this, copying that. Like, what are you bringing to the table that's different, that's you, and that's gonna add to the, overall pot? Because that's the thing. We need both of y'all. It's not like one or the other. Like we need the both of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you should be able to go on T.S. Madison and then come on to Stevie and then get two different interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dope. Like why wouldn't we want that?
My sis says you always want to be yourself. There's enough room for all of us to be journalists. Exactly. And there is enough for everyone.
Of course.
Everyone be everyone. Right. And
Absolutely.
I want people to take that away. I want people to see me as being myself and being original. The only thing that sets me aside. Hold on one sec. Yes. All right. Sorry about that,
Hmm.
y'all. But I was saying what sets me aside from other bloggers is the fact that I bring high fashion. Even though I'm in South Carolina, I try to bring, a little bit of the New York flavor, a little bit of Paris flavor. Because people down here in my town, they are so close minded. Like they don't want to step outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And for those of you who grew up in the South, especially being in the LGBTQ community, y'all know how it is down here. The Bible Belt. So, but I had to shell out, and it took time for me. But
Yeah.
that's
It's
my advice
rough.
to people out there.
But
Shell
it's
out.
rough because if that's what you grow up knowing, and that's what you come from. Like, it's not just easy to get out of that comfort zone and to step out into something new. Like,
Yes.
it's tough. It's not easy. So shout out to you for doing you and doing your thing. I'm glad you hollered at me and had me on the show. It's an honor to be here. It's definitely been an absolute pleasure. What can I say? We need more of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more of this. Like, I wanna do everybody's show. I want everybody to kind of, click up and network, and let's make everything bigger. We share our audiences. You know what I'm saying? Everybody builds and recognize. So that's what it's all about. That's the real community aspect of the thing.
Yes. Wait a minute. We got a question for you. Has it been hard for Earthtone to break into the hip hop industry as a gay man? And a comment from my sis. We have to set ourselves apart. T.S. Madison has been in the game. I'm 37 years old, but I'm different in my own way. Me and her have been compared, and it's an honor. Yes, I see a lot of similarities between you and her channel, Janelle. Like, it's a lot of similarities, and people say it's a lot of similarities behind all three of us. And it's an honor to be compared to somebody to that caliber. Like, she's well known. She's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
And I look up to her as like an idol. So, to be compared to her, to have my platform complete. But the only thing that sets us aside is that, you get a little bit of fashion, you get a little bit of politics, but her, she does strictly comedy.
Yeah.
And she just did her nightly edition show, which is a little X-rated. So I don't have that.
She extra
so
spicy. But
yes.
that's what I'm saying. It's like they're gonna compare you to her because she's been doing it, like you said, for so long. She was like the first one.
Yes.
That's just human nature. Like, we always do that because that's just going back to the comfort zone. We go back to the stuff we're familiar with, we're comfortable with. So it's like, oh, they're kind of in the same lane. Yeah, it makes sense to compare you guys. But when you break it down, it's like it's different things. But that's what
Completely different.
Yeah. So that's all it is. But wait, what was the question? I had missed the question. You asked me.
Prince says, has it been hard for Earthtone to break into the hip hop industry as a gay black man?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it's hard to break into the hip hop industry as any man, period. Like, any woman,
Yes.
any man. Like, it's just a hard industry to get into. There's so many people trying to do it. It's such a small community, and it's very niche. And if they don't want you in there, you're not gonna be in there. Period. That's just kind of the way it goes. You see, like, you can't get to a certain level until you, like you said, break through. So breaking through and getting to that point is very difficult. It's not really something that I'm attaining to or trying to, put my energy towards. I'm more focused on, like, as far as the music, I'm more focused on making great, good quality music that I enjoy and that I want to share. And then anything that comes after that will be great. But other than trying to chase that, that go down that rabbit hole and chase that big deal and get that, I'm kind of past that. It's over for that. So I don't really. It's definitely hard to do that, but that's not really something I'm trying to do. So.
And my sis says, death to the comfort zone. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all one of my favorite quotes from Lady Gaga when she was on American Horror Story. She said, goddesses don't speak in whispers, they scream. So I'm going to be the loudest one in the room when I walk in. You're going to know that I'm there, and that's going to set me aside from the other people in the room. So you got to do something that makes you original so that people be like, that's Miss Stevie or that's Earthtone. Originality is what's key, especially in the music industry and especially in the fashion industry. For me, you have to be original, and I'm pretty sure B-Hawk, if they're still in here, they can attest to this. More importantly than anything is that you have to do something that sets you aside from other people.
Yeah.
So that's my lecture for the night. I don't want to keep Earthtone.
But on that, the key is we're naturally individuals. Like, we're naturally different from each other if we just, accept who we actually are. Like, you can't be me, I can't be you. Like, if we're both naturally who we are, we're already going to be different. So it's like, but it comes from people who not being themselves and they're trying to be something different.
Yes.
That way it's like, okay,
can't force it.
Y'all doing the same thing. It's like, no, that's not. So we here with it.
On the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions before we conclude, ladies and gentlemen? Did you guys enjoy this interview? It was amazing having you here.
Absolutely. I know I most certainly did. Okay, shout out to Prince the Enlightened one. They in here.
Yes, and I hope you guys
It's,
enjoyed. I
they
hope
in
you guys enjoyed and go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just looking at the comments. Go ahead.
I was giving a shout out to my sis Janelle Jayance. Make sure you guys go and check out Home Cooked Convos. Another shout out goes to my girl D Rashawn on the hot seat.
Hey,
Make sure you guys go and check out her platform. She has a couple interviews. We just had Alex Jonte. Alex just released his first horror film, which is like an indie horror film, which is big coming from a black man that is
that's
in the LGBTQ
huge.
community, The Assistant. So make sure you guys go and check that out.
That's dope.
And it's incredible. It's amazing. Like
Okay.
it looks like it was basically shot by a big production company. Like Alex did an amazing
We
job.
need that,
Thank
man.
you.
I
It's
love that.
beautiful.
That's dope.
So give shout outs to all the black content creators. There's enough room for each and every one of us to shine. So I'm gonna keep shouting it out. So shout outs to each and every one of them.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay.
All right, we're going to conclude, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't have any more questions, thank you so much for a
Of
phenomenal interview.
course.
I have
Of
been
course.
waiting all week long in anticipation.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Word.
You too, and you have a great evening. You guys, please be safe. COVID has not gone away. The
It's
numbers
real.
are up in the millions. Please wash your hands and wear your mask and social distance.
Peace. Peace.
Take care.